Welcome to the Eva Media World of Business Aviation podcast. It's great to have you here. Please, as ever, do let us know what you think to what we do. I'm Paul Eden, editor of Eva Magazine. Joining me today, I have someone who is just business aviation through and through, although it wasn't always the case, I have to say. So here is George Galanopoulos, who is CEO and co-founder of Luxaviation UK. Hello, George.
Good morning, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. It's great to have you with us. Now, I've mentioned CEO, co-founder of Luxaviation UK. In like 3 minutes, can you give us a snapshot of what exactly Luxaviation UK does?
Luxaviation is a business aircraft management and charter operator. We started some 28 years ago with small aircraft, and then we progressed over the years, became one of the largest operators in the UK. Before we joined the Luxaviation Group, which is a worldwide group, managing today some 195 business jets.
Wow. Okay. Now, you grew up in Greece, I know, and you had no aviation interest or background at all, as far as I know. There wasn't even anyone in the family who flew or anything like that. And school perhaps wasn't your favorite thing. And at some point you thought, hey, let's go to the UK, see what happens. What's the story there?
You're absolutely right, Paul. I wasn't great at school. I was lazy, basically. I shouldn't be saying that because I'm trying to teach my oldest son now that's just gone to uni that education is so important. And school and university is so important in our lives. But times have changed, of course, over the years. I wasn't particularly good at school. No, you're correct. My single mother then decided that I need to do something in my life. So she pushed me. She sent me to the UK, where my best friend was studying at the time. No aviation interest whatsoever. I wasn't one of those kids that played with aeroplanes and looked at the sky and said, I want to be a pilot one day. None at all. I came to the UK to do computer science because back in the middle 80s, it was the thing to do. It was the really new business that everyone was looking at. And at the time, by the way, I haven't even touched the computer. So I came to the UK, I did a couple of years of A-levels, and then I was ready to go to university to study computers. I had very little money, so I had to work in a bar. And while I was working one Friday evening, I remember, this guy walked in, we started chatting. He was a Greek Cypriot that grew up in the UK. And while we're chatting, I said, what are you going to do? Surely this is not your permanent job. I said, no, I'm going to university. And he said, to do what? I said, computers. He goes, no, you don't want to do that. You want to be a pilot. I looked at him, I said, I don't want to be a pilot. He said, no, you do, trust me. The best job in the world, and computers is boring. So you don't want to get involved with that. Anyway, the long story short, the next day, he invited me to go flying on a Piper Navajo that was positioning empty from Luton Airport to Oxford.
Right.
So I went there and I really enjoyed it. And that was the beginning, really. Carried on, took me some more freight flights out of Southend to the middle of the night. And eventually I dropped my degree and went to become a pilot with great difficulty, I would say, because the cost at the time was some £60,000. It's a lot more today. Money I didn't have. So it took me about 5 or 6 years before I got my commercial license.
Wow. Is it true now? I think you may have told me this, or I may have made this up, but these were different times in the 80s. Attitudes were slightly different. Part of the attraction was that this guy said to you, hey, you get a pilot's uniform. The ladies like a man in uniform.
That was part of the incentive, yes. I'm sad to say, but...
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll return to that in just a minute or two. In the meantime, so you've got your commercial license, and then you are kind of working in the business, kind of on the periphery of the business, but you ended up co-founding London Executive Aviation with 2 partners, I believe. What's the story between, wow, I'm suddenly a pilot, and hey, now I'm running this executive aviation company?
Well, first of all, I had no interest working for the airlines.
Right.
My first plan, it was to go to Africa and do about a year of humanitarian work. I was really, really interested to do that. Unfortunately, it never happened for one reason or the other. Then I started working for a small air taxi company, flying Piper Senecas, Piper Navajos. My ex-wife joined me. She was working operations. I was flying and doing all the finances. And at some point, we decided we need to do this for ourselves. And we got a business plan together, or attempted to get a business plan together to present to an investor so we can get some money to start. We were not very good in that. Again, the lack of education, that it kind of became apparent at that point. And we came across Patrick Magus Erasmus, which helped us with our business plan. The investor wasn't interested to invest. And then Patrick said, hey, we don't really need that much money to start. Let's put a small amount together and start, the three of us.
So let's then, there was something else that you mentioned I really wanted to pick up on, which was, you mentioned Patrick. Now, Patrick is particularly significant to me because Patrick was the first person in business aviation who I ever spoke to, and he explained to me pretty much how the whole thing worked. And even now, this must be a decade ago, I often think, now, what did Patrick say? How would Patrick have explained that? So it's really nice for me that there's this kind of connection with London Executive Aviation that I always go back to. It's kind of in my roots. So thank him and thank you for that connection. That's just really special to me.
Well, Patrick is a great guy. We're partners for over 25 years. And I have to say, without him, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Oh, really?
And that's really important for people that start in business today. And that's my honest advice. Find a partner that complements and gives you what you haven't got. It's almost impossible for a single person to have all the qualities you need to succeed in business. Myself and Patrick, we gel together. We've gone through the up and downs that everyone does when he starts his own business. And honestly, over 25 years, I don't think we had an argument. We had a few disagreements. We were chalk and cheese, completely different people. He came from a purely financial background. He was a city guy, no aviation experience, except that he loved flying. And I was just the airplane guy that go on with people. So the two of us together, I think, was a really important part of getting London Executive Aviation, which we just got at the time, become a big operator.
Yeah. So you would say that success isn't, it's about, I want to do this, I can see how to do this, but it's also about recognizing the things that you can't do and finding someone can help you and getting there as a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
And I think we both recognized over the years that we're really a crucial element to the business. And that's why we stayed together for so long.
Fantastic. Okay. So if we think back a bit there, when you first started as a business with Patrick, what aeroplanes were you operating, and did you own the aeroplanes or did you operate them on behalf of other people?
We started with the Piper Navajo,
okay.
PA-31, twin-engine 8-seater, which we bought with finance, of course. And then we built from there. We operated Piper Senecas. The first type of work we did, it was the racing, horse racing. So somehow I managed to get into the horse fraternity new market. And on a daily basis, we fly jockeys, trainers, and owners around the race horses in the UK.
Right.
Following that, we used the Piper Seneca to do traffic spotting for the LBC radio station. So we used to fly around London 7 to 9 a.m. and 5 to 7 p.m. with the presenter next ones try to spot the next big traffic jam.
Yeah, right. Wow. So the M25 was a dream come true for you then.
I was really excited every time I saw a long queue on the M25.
That's just brilliant. So you mentioned horse racing. That is why I think even today there's a Luxaviation UK office in Newmarket, isn't there?
That is completely by chance. We used to have an office in Newmarket for a number of years. We don't anymore. Our office is at Stableford, where we started, and we have an office at Duxford, where we do our camel.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. Well, we could talk about Duxford all day, but let's not do that. Okay. So you qualified, I think, as a commercial pilot in 1990?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. Okay. You flew lots of types subsequently, but do you still manage to do any flying now? Because I find often when people become more senior in an organization, they just don't have the time to do it anymore.
Unfortunately, I don't, Paul. I gave up flying probably some 15 years ago.
Right.
As the company grew, realized that there's no time. I felt kind of guilty every time I went flying because I could be more productive on the ground, getting new clients and dealing with issues and pilots, of course, which is a big part in the aviation business that we have to deal with on a daily basis. So I gave up flying. I kept my license for 2 or 3 years. It's purely to fly privately. Me and Patrick used to go skiing every other weekend. But at the end, I just didn't feel safe. I wasn't current enough. Every time I go in an aircraft, I didn't feel that I was quite current to deal with any emergencies. So I gave this up.
Yeah, I always think that's a sign of a good pilot, being able to say, I don't think I'm current enough, I'm not safe enough, I'm going to stop. That's always something I quite admire in a pilot. What types of airplane did you fly? What did you have type ratings on?
I flew the PA-34, the Piper Seneca, PA-31, Piper Navajo, the King Air 200, which has always been my favorite. And then the Citation 2. I started on the Citation XL, but that was the time that I gave up flying.
Right, okay. What was it about the King Air that you especially liked then?
It has to be one of the legends in business aviation. I mean, it's still produced today after 40 years, I believe, or more.
Yeah, longer.
It's a versatile aircraft. We used to operate out of Stapleford, out of a grass runway.
Right.
5.7 tons aircraft. We could do Stapleford to Faro, a 5-hour flight. And similarly, I think we landed once at Newmarket. So it's just an amazing aircraft.
Yeah. If I'm right, I think the King Air first flew in 1964, so it's 60th anniversary this year, which is...
I should have known that. It's as old as me. So, yes.
So there we go.
Great.
Yeah, pretty amazing, isn't it? So thinking then about not just your company, but business aviation in general, you mentioned before there have been some ups and downs. What challenges have you overcome? And really looking ahead, what do you think is the next big challenge?
Over the years, we've seen the economic downturns, which they have a direct effect in business aviation. We've seen new regulations coming in at a cost, upgrades to aircraft systems. And looking forward, I think sustainability is a big challenge for the industry. But I'm very confident that as an industry, we have learned over the years how to deal with challenges like this. And I believe aviation will be one of the front runners in implementing new technologies. And I'm also pretty confident that we will achieve the target of net zero by 2050.
Right. Okay. That's good to hear. I am a little bit skeptical myself, but it's good to hear that people in the industry think 2050 is possible. I'm guessing that sustainable aviation fuel is a big part of that for you, but what are your thoughts on electric aviation?
Well, SAF is certainly part of our overall plan to reduce emissions. We have clients that insist on SAF. Right. The big challenge, of course, is availability.
Yep.
But there's more and more airports have Luton, which is one of our main bases. Farnborough that do provide SAF. And we recommend it to clients, and most of our larger clients, they are very keen on using SAF. It comes at a cost, of course. I think people are prepared to pay the extra bit to do their bit for the environment. Electric aviation is a great step forward. I'm confident there will be a few companies that will achieve certification somewhere around 2025 to 26. But for me, it's an interim solution. It's not a long-term solution. It's certainly a short-haul solution. I can never see electric aviation be able to produce something that would cross the Atlantic. No. But for short-haul, to do a London-Manchester, London-Paris maybe, is a great solution. And of course, it's not totally sustainable. We must remember that. So hydrogen is the long-term plan.
Yeah.
And again, I'm confident that technology will develop quickly on that.
Okay, I'm with you on hydrogen for sure. For me, I think sustainability, as it refers to an industry, is about more than environmental impact as well, though. It's also about sustaining the industry itself, i.e. getting young people, getting new people, making sure you've got the staff for the future. And everyone I speak to in aviation says, oh, we can't find decent people. No one's out there. You know, we advertise and we get like one person responds looking for a job or whatever. What are your thoughts on the future in terms of young people? I mean, are your own children interested even?
No, my own children are not interested, probably because of me. I've always thought I want to keep them outside my business, but they need to make their own steps in life and find their own way. I think finding staff, from ground staff to even pilots, it will be a challenge in the next few years. And it's down to us as an industry to promote ourselves, to get ourselves out there. Yeah. We, as part of the BPGA, Liz Moshcrop does quite a lot. We have a partnership with Stansted Airport College, and we try to show people the attraction of business aviation. Very sexy industry. Yeah. If I was a 17 and 18-year-old and I look at different interests, I look at business aviation, I'll think, wow, this is exciting.
Yeah.
Why would I go and do something that will probably give me more money, but I'll be bored? Business aviation is really, really sexy business, and it's up to us as an industry to promote that. Get it out there.
Yeah. Can we do that well without while still respecting the confidentiality and discretion that your clients typically need? Can we still get that message out there and say, wow, look what we do. Look at these cool machines and this amazing technology.
Confidentiality, of course, is essential. And of course, we will never bring a young person over to the office and start showing him all the celebrities we fly, but we can talk about our industry. Everyone knows who uses business aviation. It's not just the CEO of a company. Now we got the new influx of people, got the YouTubers, the influencers, right. And they're people, they are happy to shout about using private jet. Where predominantly over the years, we've seen the typical business person keeping quiet about it, at least in Europe, slightly different in the US. Yeah. They're probably, people are nervous about the shareholders of a big company. Well, the shareholders will say if they've been seen flying to Paris on a private jet. But the new generation, the YouTubers, they want to be filmed. You know, they normally ask our pilots, can we take a video of us? Can we take a photo with you? And I think great for our industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely that. I ought to have asked you and didn't about the composition of the fleet now. We talked about the past, but what does your fleet look like now? The Luxaviation UK fleet, that little part of the much bigger Luxaviation fleet. What do you have at the moment?
Well, unfortunately, we had to retire our King Airs. They were just not financially viable. people have moved on to want jets, huge jets rather than turboprops. So the smallest aircraft, the entry-level air, is the Embraer Phenom 300.
Okay.
Citation Excels are my new favorite, the value for money, the real workhorse.
Okay.
They have 4 of them in the UK. And then we go up to the Challenger 604 and the Embraer Legacies. Again, they're very, very popular on the longer range trips.
Yeah.
And then the Global 6000,
Right.
which is the flagship.
Yeah. Okay. I recall now you added a Praetor to the fleet recently, didn't you?
Yes, sort of. We've got a Praetor. That's the new kid on the block. Praetor 600, a great aircraft again, based on Biggin Hill and available for charter.
Right. And from Biggin Hill, I might be wrong here, but a Praetor 600 could take you to Dubai?
Yes. Yeah. The Praetor 600 is got 4,000 nautical mile range, so you can do big in Dubai and the return against normal headwinds.
Really? It's not that big an aeroplane to go that far, is it really? It doesn't seem like there'll be space in there for enough fuel to go all the way to Dubai. That's quite incredible.
Very true, but that's what makes it really good value for money. So, you know, you don't have to pay for a Gulfstream or a Global to go to Dubai and back. If it's 1 or 2 of you, there's ample space, 4 flat beds. So it's good for long range for a small number of people.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, it's not been in the fleet for very long, but is it proving as popular as you'd hoped?
Yes, it is popular. It's still a case of educating the market.
Sure.
People don't think of a Praetor necessarily when they want to do 3,000 to 4,000 miles trips to New York. But it's used excessively. I think at the moment it's down in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
So with a stop, of course.
Yeah, sure.
So it is a really great, really successful type of aircraft from Embraer. And we're hoping to get more of them.
Yeah, okay, that's very cool. You mentioned one of the citations there was your new favorite aeroplane. So clearly you're a Textron fan. What is it about the Citation that you like so much?
The Citation XL is just a proven product. There's no real direct competitor in that segment of the market.
Right.
You go almost standard cabin, so you don't have to crawl to get in or to move around. You can carry 8 passengers. It's got a pan-European range and really good economics.
Yeah.
So for any new clients I meet, someone that wants to get into the private jet market ownership, and his trips are predominantly Europe, I wholeheartedly say the Citation XL.
Right. Yeah.
It is a great aircraft. When you move up from there and you want the super mid-size because you want to go further, then you have the Challengers, the 605, the 650, the new model, and the Praetor 600. There's a bit of competition there. The 605 will give you the larger cabin, the wider cabin, and the Praetor will give you probably better economics.
Yeah. Okay. That's very good. We're running towards the end of our time now. So normally I would say, what's your favorite aircraft towards the end here? But we already know it's the King Air. So instead, I'm going to ask you to think back and maybe come up with 1 or 2 sort of top moments from your aviation career where you've thought, yes, this is it. This is just fabulous.
I think there's more than 2, Paul.
Okay.
I would say the first time we got a jet under management.
Right.
It was a Citation 2 for a well-known UK entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It was our entry into the jet market, and that was a big change for us. We got from a prop operator doing little trips, even with the King Airs, we do a bit further. But when we got our first jet, that was a good moment for us. I guess other moments is Fly the Queen.
Wow.
That was quite important flight for us. and we continued fly the real family for the last 10 years. So we're proud of that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And another big moment, I guess, is joining Luxaviation Group and becoming a global company that with some 195 aircraft around the world now. I still continue running the UK side, but I'm involved in certain elements around the group.
Okay.
And that gives us different perspective. I just had a call before this with our South African office yesterday, with our Australian office. So that was a good moment knowing that you're part of the big family.
Yeah, that's not bad for a lad from Greece who wasn't any good at school, is it? The boy has definitely done well, I would say. Okay.
Thank you.
George, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm afraid we are now running short of time. So all that's left for me to say is thank you to everybody for watching this episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Let us know if you have. Let us know if you haven't. And let us know if there's any guests you'd like us to speak to in the future, who you think we should get on here and just have a great conversation with. Once again, thank you, George.